Hey guys, welcome to session number two. So this session number two is a continuation of for you to the introduction to strategic management. So basically, I'm so enthralled about the topic, or I'm so enthralled about the subject of strategic management because in order based on a lot of research papers and a lot of news that I keep reading, I find a lot of strategies in different kinds of industries and different kinds of companies as well. Okay, their better positioning system in the industry is what matters the most. How would you like to position yourself in the industry? That is the first thing, because that is most important. And one more thing is that in the past, or in 1980s, in the 1950s and all that, what people would like to, or what people would call to be excellence. What do you mean by excellence? Excellence would mean, for example, if you're running a textile industry and you're actually weaving the cloths in manually. Okay, you're weaving the cloth manually, and there is an introduction on the, or there is a launch of machine for weaving. So now you have an automatic weaving machine. Okay, so far in India we've been weaving only manually. So the moment that machine is being launched in India, what do you mean by excellence? Excellence was meant as if something, whenever there is a new kind of machine is introduced in your industry for the production purpose, there is a machine introduced, would mean you have to acquire the machinery and you have to use the machinery in your business in order to increase the quality and in order to increase the number of output produced per minute or per hour, which means that excellence in the past was referred to updating yourself or keeping abreast with the updations in the industry. Whenever there is a new machine, acquire it. Okay, whenever there is a new version, update it. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell? And whenever there is a new standard that is to be followed in the office, for example, they said 5 days working and 2 days leave is productive, super productive, no issues at all. But in European Union countries, they made a research, or they did a kind of experiment where 3 to 4 country government organizations worked for 4 days and they took 3 days leave. This is an experiment for government officials. What happened was the number of goods created or the number of services created was comparatively higher than 5 plus 2. 5 days working and 2 days off. That system was working well, but they wanted to experiment with 4 plus 3 option. 4 days working and 3 days off. What happened was people worked even more, enthusiastically, because they are now getting 3 days off. Do you understand what I say? So this is a strategy adopted in Europe countries to see the visible results of the psychiatrical, or I would say the psychological mindset of people who is working. If people want 3 days off and they are ready to put in extra effort to work for 4 days, not by increasing the working hours, but just by increasing their skills and by enthusiasm, they are increasing the productivity. Do you understand? Which means when we are talking about strategy, okay, in this year of 2020, it is different. But way back in 1950s or 1970s, when they talked about the business policy or how to business planning and all they talked, what they did was excellence would mean updating themselves. That is what they called excellence. Updating with the new machineries or new methodologies, 5 plus 2, 4 plus 2. This is what they meant as the excellence. But today, that is definitely not called as an excellence. That is just called as business operative or operating efficiency. What is it called? Doing the right thing properly at right time. This is not excellence or efficiency. This is just effectiveness. Doing the right thing. For example, if 4 plus 3 is proven to be highly efficient, then you should install it in your company. Then you should implement it in your company. If there's a new machine available, you should acquire it. If you are not going to acquire it, then definitely your competitor is going to do, which means he is going to have higher profits until you also possess it, which means whenever there is a chocolate which is placed on the airspace and every competitor can clearly see that, everybody will want to snatch it. It is like a new machine that has been launched. It is like a new strategy, 5 plus 2, 4 plus 3. Which means it is like a safety environment. For example, whenever people are provided with insurance, then they are very, very, very safe. Do you understand? Whenever you're having an employee in your company and then you're giving a group insurance to him, to his father, to his mother, and to his spouse, what happens is that he develops a kind of loyalty to you. And when a company is implementing the group insurance policy for its employees, then obviously if it is going to gain the employee confidence in you, then the other competitor will also do that, because it is the best practices of the industry. The best practices in industry will be followed by all the competitors. When all the competitors are going to follow the best practices, best machinery, okay, best timings or best methodology to produce, do you understand, or the best hierarchy or the best communication format or the best email etiquette, when the best is introduced and it is in ad space which is visible for everyone, when every competitor is going to follow that, you should also follow that. That is not a luxury, that becomes a necessity for your survival, because everybody, there is everyone else in your competition except you, if they are going to follow that, they're going to have higher profits than you, then you will be left alone like Nokia phone. It is nowhere in the industry now. Today, see, you have n number of companies, okay, but there is nowhere you could see Nokia, because of the lack of strategy, because of the lack of vision, because everybody adapted to the breast, or everybody adapted to the dynamically changing things around them. Do you understand? Which means that if you could sense the changing dynamic components of the external environment, and if you keep yourself updated to that, that is not called as a strategy, that is called as operational efficiency. Everybody should have it. Every competitor will have it, should have it, and must have it. That is called as operational efficiency. If your operational efficiency is good, you are right on track, on the right race, or at the right speed. But what will make you the first winner? Which will make you the winner? Because everybody, see, for example, everybody is running, everybody is wearing a shoe, because shoe is the operational efficiency. Everybody is using the right posture. Yes, it is the operational efficiency. Everybody has undergone the training. Yes, it is an operational efficiency. But what are you going to do to win? Which means that when everybody else is doing it, you are also supposed to do it, because it is the operational efficiency or operational effectiveness. But what are you going to do that is going to be different from the rest of them? Okay? But whatever you do, that should differentiate you. They should not be able to follow it. Even if they are willing to follow it, even if they are admiring you and they are willing to follow it, they should not be able to follow it. You should differentiate yourself from the rest of the group. What are you going to do? How are you going to differentiate yourself? Differentiating yourself from the rest of the others is called as strategy. How are you going to develop that competitive advantage? Core competence, that competitive advantage, that none of your competitors can dare touch you. No, they cannot touch you. They will never dare to come near you. What is that kind of defense weapon? What is that kind of weapon that is going to save you and your employees and your company from other competitors? How are you going to win over the customers? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So strategy is all about differentiating yourself from the others, and differentiating in a way where you have competitive advantage. Now it comes a question, what do you mean by competitive advantage? Competitive advantage, maybe you have a peculiar method. For example, you have raw material, and that raw material only you can use, nobody else can use it, because you have the exclusive license to mine that raw material. You have the exclusive right to mine that chemical or mine that metal from the ground. Nobody else has the license. Only you have applied it and you have gotten that. Which means you can use a raw material in the production process, which will give your finest quality output that none of your competitors could do. That is your strategy. For example, there is a furniture showroom, okay, furniture retailer. He's called as a furniture, not just retailer, it's a company that is called as IKEA. Okay, Chennai, I mean, like in Tamil Nadu, we don't have IKEA showroom as of now. And in Bangalore, I guess there is an IKEA showroom, and in certain cities, we have IKEA showroom. But what is the specialty of IKEA showroom? Do you know? Furniture. The furniture, you have furniture around you. Okay, you have local shops. Okay, you have high-end shops. You have many shops where furniture are being sold, and that too in teak wood, high quality, superior built quality. Everything is available, even for a sofa. Teak wood, super built quality teak wood furniture is available. But do you think you can afford to that furniture which is super good super fine tuned quality, superior quality furniture, whose which price range is around 35,000 sofa? No, you wouldn't. Do you know how do you segment the market? For example, there are multiple customers. Okay, are you going to see, for example, you're a cosmetic product, are you going to design the cosmetic for women or for men or for the teenagers? Okay, what are you going to do? And this is what they're trying to establish. Who is your customer? Who are you going to make happy? One rule in strategy is that your strategy should not please everybody. Your strategy is supposed to make at least someone unhappy. I'll tell you the example of IKEA, which was actually told by Michael Porter. That is the Porter's five forces model that we are going to study in strategic management. Okay, the great Michael Porter, who is still alive. Because when I studied Porter's five forces model, I thought he is some guy who was born in 80s. I mean, who was born in some 18th century or 19th or 17th century, who has given some ideas, and then who's not even now. But then I was so astonished to see Michael Porter. Okay, he is a person who has given you the five forces model. That is the competitors. Okay, customers, competitors, suppliers. These are all the five forces. Okay, vendor, and then he has given the five forces of competitive environment. So that Michael Porter has spoken about IKEA model. I'll just try to replicate him to the extent possible. He said the furniture example. Now, if I want to buy the furniture, what would be my style or my classic type of wood or my classic type of metal I want, or I would say my classic type of what's my type or what's my preference, I would say. So now how IKEA segmented the country or many of the eastern countries or many of the western countries would mean, they did not segment as man, woman, or upper middle class, lower middle class, or they did not segment they did not segment their customers as highly affluent customers or low customers, or they did not categorize as adult, or they did not categorize as old age people or teenagers. They just categorized simply as, in the western countries, what happened was, in the western countries, because of density of population in cities, urban areas are crowded now. As a result, the apartment size has become much smaller. Already Western countries has only nuclear families, and apart from that, now there is a lot of demand for studio rooms. So studio rooms is that there's only one man, like a bachelor, who is working, and he needs just a studio apartment. He just needs a room and with a bathroom. That's all. That's what he needs. So that kind of apartment which has a single bedroom, there is single room with an attached bathroom. So this is called as studio apartments. Do you understand? So the IKEA is concentrating now on how to satisfy the needs of customers whose living space is extraordinarily small and compact. So if they have a very small and compact sized living space, because they live in Chicago, because they live in Los Angeles, or because they live in the most urbanized cities of the world, even though they have a very handsome remuneration, even though they have very handsome salary, even they have a high paid job, they can't buy the teak wood materialized, or they cannot have the teak wood furniture because they don't have enough space. So their segmentation of the customers was less space apartments, or very, very, very narrowly spaced apartments, or narrow living spaces. This is what is the idea of IKEA. And number two was that IKEA is the furnishing business. IKEA is in furnishing business. So it sells a lot of furnishings to make your house look more beautiful. Okay, along with the furniture. So what it does is that IKEA said that, okay, IKEA thought like this. Okay, we are in the furnishing business. And furnishing business would mean a lot of money should be wasted on transportation. Imagine you're buying a bed. Okay, the bed or the cost comes around 25,000, and you can use it only as a bed. You cannot use it as a table, chair. You cannot change the shape of the bed because it is a traditionally or conventional styled teakwood bed, which is 35,000, for which you have to pay 2,000 rupees to transport it from the the workplace. That is the workplace lender. You have to bring it to your house. Okay. So from the shop to the house, you have to pay 1,000 rupees as delivery charges because it is very heavy. It has to be properly transported and all that. Which means that here there are two things. One is which is heavily priced one. Rendavathu, it is very conventionally styled one. And people who are living in studio apartments, they want a product which they can use it as a bed at night time, which they can use it as a teapot in the daytime, and when visitors are visiting them, when guests are coming, they want to use it as a dining table. Which means IKEA now is faced with the challenge of designing a furniture which can be a bed, which can be a teapot, which can be a table and chair, which can be a shelf, which can be a storage cupboards, which can be anything. And all these things put together, they have to come up with the design, they have to come up with the technique, which is space saving, okay, which is not heavyweight, which has to be a lightweight, and which can be assembled by the customers themselves. Okay, so what happened was Michael Porter is a man in his late 70s or something, and then he's a very affluent person. He's a very rich person because he's actually doing a consulting job with many of the CEOs of the top companies of the world. So he has much money. He has much more than you and I can imagine. So he has two daughters. So so every summer he visits his daughter in college. So his daughter, she's doing her college studies and she is living in a studio apartment, or she is living in a very very less spaced apartment. And what happens is that whenever Michael Porter wants to visit his daughter, what she would say is that, "Dad, please take the sedan and come." And he would say, "Why?" And she would say that, "Okay, I want to visit IKEA store, so please can you rent a sedan from the airport, and then you come and visit me, and then when you go back you can go, and in the meantime when you're visiting me, let's go to the IKEA store to buy some of the things because I would like to." So what he does is, because of the extraordinary love he has for his daughter, he would take sedan in the sense the big sized car. Okay, he would take the sedan and he would rent it and he would go from the airport to the college. He would visit her, and both of them then go to IKEA store. When you enter into IKEA store, it is designed in such a fashion, once you get in, you get lost. In the sense, you cannot even know where the exit is or where the other department is. It is designed specifically in such a fashion that you would never have even a tiny bit of idea how to go to the exit or how to go to other places, because it is designed in a magnificent way. So what happens here is that there is no customer support. There is no person who is going to come and tell you, "What do you want? May I take you to the next section? What color would you like to have? What is the kind of fabric would you like to have?" Nobody is going to ask you that, because IKEA had a team of designers, had a team of well-equipped engineers who sat across the table and designed furniture, which could be bed, which could be a teapot, which could be a dining table, which could be a storage space, everything compactly designed into one furniture. And that one furniture, okay, is assembled and kept for you as a showcase in the IKEA showroom. Once if you decide that, okay, this is the piece I want, then if you want to take it home, nobody is going to deliver it to your apartment, because once you see this is the design I want, then you have to go to the godown. There is a way to go down. You have to go to the godown. You have to see the rack number. You have to select the box, and the box has the components inside, which if you assemble it will give you that kind of furniture. So you have to assemble it, you have to take the box to your home by yourself, you have to self-deliver, you have to self-assemble, but at the end of the day you're going to get a good Scandinavian stylish look, because it is a Switzerland company which has recruited the finest designers and finest engineers to design the best model for the low spaced apartments or less spaced apartments. So the Scandinavian styled furnitures designed and re-engineered by IKEA, okay, is best suited for Michael Porter's daughter. But it is not best suited for Michael Porter because Michael Porter found it so annoying, okay, to take a sedan and to park it outside the shop and then enter into a shop where you could find no help, because God help you in the IKEA showroom, because nobody is going to help you. There is no customer support. Yes, there is nobody you could turn to ask what you want, because there is no customization, no fabric you want, no color of your choice. It is all preset model. They have a preset model of 10. If you like model number 1, take it. If you like model number 9, take it. If you want model number 9 with certain customization, then IKEA would tell you, better luck next time, because we are not going to customize it for you, because you are not my customer. My customer is the customer who wants one out of the 10 products that I have designed as a preset. If you want model 9 with fabric 2, okay, with height 3, with the model, okay, with other models, if you want a customized product, then you should go to some other competitor, because some other competitor out there is waiting for you, to salute you, to help you into their showroom, to show you the different fabrics, to show you the different styles, to customize the product for you. So this is the rule for strategic formulation. When you're formulating a strategy, your strategy is to satisfy your customer, but make sure that you will never be able to satisfy all the customers unanimously, because if you're trying to do that, you will never succeed. If you're trying to satisfy Michael Porter's daughter's quality, then you can do it with IKEA strategy. Yes? But if you want to satisfy Michael Porter's demand, then you cannot do it as IKEA, because IKEA does not take customization. So Michael Porter has to go to a shop where he can get customer support, he can get personalized fabric, personalized design, personalized home delivery. He doesn't want to assemble, because assembling the furniture all by himself is a very tedious job, and it is a very annoying job for him, because he's an old man. He has much more important things to do as a consultant engineer. He doesn't have to sit and assemble a piece of furniture for 40 minutes, because in that 40 minutes he'll give strategical ideas to different companies. He doesn't want to waste that 40 minutes on assembling a furniture. But for you and me, 40 minutes is no matter at all. We want to have a Scandinavian style furniture which could turn into 5 different utility value, as bed, as teapot, as dining table, as storage spaces, as much more, with less price, because here you don't need the delivery cost. Since the transportation cost is reduced, IKEA is able to give you the furniture at the low cost. Since you can assemble it yourself, you don't have to ship it, assembling it. You just have to take the boxes home. You're not taking the furniture home, you're taking the boxes home. And for Michael Porter, taking the box out of the sedan and carrying it by himself to his apartment is an annoying job. He doesn't like it, but his daughter likes it. Okay, assembling it is like a Christmas gift. Whenever you're buying a Christmas present for somebody, or whenever you're buying a birthday present for somebody, you sit, you decorate the room. It's that kind of a feel when you buy something from IKEA and assemble it all by yourself, and you're just putting it for the showcase. That kind of feel you get when you go to IKEA and come back. But for that old man, it's not going to work. So whenever you're formulating the strategy, your strategy is to find your targeted customers. If your targeted customer is Michael Porter's daughter, then you should be IKEA. If your targeted customer is Michael Porter, then your company should be Pekka, which means a different furniture showroom where people's customization preferences are given much more importance than the preset models defined by IKEA. Do you understand? Which means you are supposed to have some unhappy customer targets. Certain customers should be unhappy with you because your targeted customer is different. But there is nobody from your targeted customer should be unhappy. If your targeted customers are less spaced apartment residents, then every resident who lives in a narrowly spaced apartment should love your product. That should be a motto. But any old man who is heavily, who is having a very weight wallet, who is having a very bulge wallet, okay, he doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be happy with you because he's not your targeted customer. Do you understand that? So that is the difference between the operational efficiency and your strategic positioning. You should position yourself well, and then you have to choose your targeted customer, and then you have to differentiate yourself from others in such a fashion nobody else should be able to follow you or imitate you or do something like what you have done, because that is strategy. And next one is that the common understanding, the common knowledge that you should possess is that there's always a talk or difference between the industry and firm. What is an industry? Group of firm is called as an industry. For example, in India, pharmaceutical industry, where Sun Pharma is there, Glenmark is there, and multiple other pharmaceutical companies are there. So each and every company is a firm, but these group of firms are called as an industry. For example, if the industry is doing exceedingly well, what does it mean? It means that any company in pharmaceutical business can easily earn around 15% profit, which means pharmaceutical business is doing well because now you have sanitizers, you have masks, and you have many other essentials that is needed by every household in India, which means in India pharmaceutical business has a very good demand, which means pharmaceutical business has an average return on investment at the rate of 15%, which means if the return on investment is 15% of pharmaceutical business, first of all, you should self-analyze yourself. For example, you're Sun Pharma. You are Sun Pharma, your company is Sun Pharma. Sun Pharma is a very big pharmaceutical company in India. So pharmaceutical industry is telling you that the average industrial profit is 15%. Any company which is coming into the pharmaceutical industry in India can earn 15%. This is called as the average return on investment. Average return on investment is 15%. If your company is earning 18% return on investment, that is profit per annum, 18% profit, then you are superiorly, or I would say you are positioned in a superior level. Do you understand? Your superiority is 3% more than the average return on investment level, which is 15%. But in case your company is only having 13% of profit, then it means that the industrial benchmark level is 15% and your company is way below that, only at the level of 13%, which means you're lacking somewhere. Your strategy is not working, or you don't have a strategy at all, or your operational efficiency is lacking. You need to raise the bar. You need to raise your effectiveness. You need to buy the new machines. You need to update yourself. You need to follow the new standards. You need to formulate a strategy in order to match with that 15% at least. But those companies which are having 18%, 20 or 21 are proving that they are the leaders or pioneers in the pharmaceutical industry. So this is what you should learn first of all about the industry. Whether the industry is doing well. Yes, industry is doing well at 15%, but I'm not doing well, I'm just 8%. What is the problem with me? That is the place where you start to self-analyze yourself. Self-analyzing starts where? Where the industry is doing at 15%, but I'm doing only at 8%. What's the problem with me? It is the first problem. Next one, industry is only doing at 10%. How the hell this man is able to make 18%? Something is extraordinary with him. This may also happen. So where do you start yourself? First, you should analyze the industry and you should self-analyze, and you should start to better position yourself in the industry. Yes, and then you have to see whether your operational efficiency is good. And then you have to design a competitive advantage. You have to find what is your competitive advantage. What is that you have at your disposal that others don't have? What can you build? What can you create that others cannot imitate or do so? That is your competitive advantage. Okay, buying a new machine is not a competitive advantage because your competitor can do that. Okay. and adopting 4 plus 3 is not a competitive advantage because others can do it. Because what is the best practices in the industry that you should follow? That is not a strategy, that is a minimum necessity. Do you understand? So that is where operational efficiency gains momentum and competitive advantage is differentiating yourself from others. Okay? There are two ways through which you can earn high profit. Number one, selling at a high price. Number two, lowering the cost of production. If you want to lower the cost of production, then you should definitely have some technological advancement. Do you understand? If you want to lower the cost of production, like IKEA wanted to cut down the cost of production by reducing the transportation cost, and that is why they have converted or transformed the furniture into a boxed item, where the boxed item has all the components of setting it up into a furniture. That is how they reduced the cost of the product but maintained the price of the product. But this is one type of strategy where cost is reduced and price is maintained so as to reap the profit margin. But at certain places you can't influence the prices of raw material. For example, you are a dealer of chemicals or you're a dealer of helium. Helium is being made from some raw material called as food stack. The price of the food stack or the price of the raw material cannot be influenced by you. Or you're a mere retailer. You're just buying the helium gas and you're supplying it. Do you understand? When you're buying the input, the price of the input cannot be influenced by you. For example, you're dealing with the petrol. The petrol prices are not being fixed by you. Do you understand? And you're supplying oxygen or you're supplying helium. So helium can be produced in your own factory. But the factory which is producing helium needs a raw material, and the prices of the raw material cannot be influenced by you. Which means that when the cost of production is not being influenced by you, what will you do in order to make higher profits? Can you increase the price? If you want to increase the price, what differentiation, what exclusivity, what uniqueness should you do in order to increase your price? These are all the questions you need to answer if you want to increase your profitability. Are you going to decrease your cost in order to increase the profit margin, or are you going to increase the price in order to increase the profit margin? And there is always a question that, can I have both low cost and high profits at the same time and using differentiation? That is very difficult because making low cost would mean superior technology. Do you understand? Superior technology will give you low cost and it will give you the space to maintain the same price. Thereby you will be having the profitability. But to gain that superior technology, you have to spend a lot on R&D, research and development. There is always a balance on a lot of these things. So these are the things where we are going to start a journey with strategic management. And also it is about the synergic effect, because for example, Titan Raga watches, Fast Track watches, Fast Track Tata, Titan Raga Tata, Tanishq jewelry Tata, okay, a textile industry Tata. Yes, Tata has. And what not? Tata has literally everything. And when you have a broader perspective, you have nearly 50 different industries you're involved in. You're involved in jewelry, you're involved in watches, you're involved in bags, you're involved in textiles. You're involved in textiles. Yes, you're involved in steel, you're involved in Tata Consultancy Services, you're involved in Tata Real Estate, you're involved in Tata Tea, yes, you're involved in Tata Sampan, that is Tata Sampan where you have the moong dal, where you have the unpolished tur dal. In every industry you're involved. So, strategy should be in which level? Do you think strategy to be at the level of Tata, or the strategy should be at the level of Titan Raga or Tata Crystal Salt, or the strategy should be at the level of TCS? Do you understand? Are you getting my point? Or should the strategy should be at the level of Tata Fast Track? Can you have the same strategy for Salt and for Titan Raga and for TCS? No, I can't. I have to have a specific strategy for TCS because it is the IT sector. I have to have a different strategy for Tata Sampann, Tata Agni Tea. Okay? And I have Tata Coffee, Tata Grand. This is my coffee. I have a coffee industry, I have a tea industry, I have Titan, okay, I have Titan Raga, I have Fast Track, I have Tata Salt, I have Tanishq. I have literally entered into every industry. But now how do I have a strategy? My core strategy should be called as business strategy. I will have a separate business strategy for Titan. I will have a separate business strategy for Tata Salt. I will have a separate business strategy for TCS. I will have a separate business strategy for Tata Fast Track, which means business strategy is the core point of everything. When every business strategy is synergizing together and forming the top level strategy, that, my girls and boys, is called as corporate strategy. Corporate strategy. Corporate strategy synergizes the business level strategies of all the business industries you have involved. Now when it comes to Tata Tea, inside Tata Tea, there is called as a procurement department where Tata Tea leaves are procured. And there is a department called as operations where leaves are being churned into dust, churned into Tata Tea powder. This is the operations department. And there is a department called as sales and marketing and R&D. So, what is the strategy for production center? Or what is the strategy for procurement of leaves, tea leaves? Where from should I acquire the tea leaves? Should it be from Assam? Or should it be from Tamil Nadu? Or should it be from, foreign countries? Where should I get the tea leaves from? So for this problem, where should I procure? How should I procure? At what cost should I procure? What differentiation should I use to bring out the taste in my tea, which is different from others? What should I do? Should I decrease the cost and should maintain the price, or should I increase my price and maintain the same cost and differentiate in a different way? Tata Grand coffee, high priced coffee, but people still buy it because of the taste, because of the aroma. That is their strategy, which means at the functional level, where should I procure the leaves, tea leaves? How do I operate? How do I sell? How do I market it? How should I do the research and development? Should I recruit people from China? Should I recruit people from India? What should I do? These problems, when it is being solved or when it is being taken care of by formulating a strategy, it is called as functional strategy. So what are the three levels of strategy? Core strategy is business. Business is the core level. And below business, whenever business strategy is being formulated, within that box, okay, functional level managers will formulate a strategy in order to procure the tea leaves of the best quality at the low price. Okay, and from the best foreign country. So this is what the functional level managers would do. And business level is a core level. And when all the business synergizes into a very extravaganza, that is called as, in an exaggerated format, all the business level strategies are combining, accumulating into a synergic effect, that is called as corporate level strategy. Okay, with this we will be ending the session number 2, and in the next session I will just introduce the proactive behavior and reactive behavior of the strategy, and we'll also study about the SWOT, that is the strength, weakness, opportunity and threat in the environment, and we will also study about the NGOs, there is a non-profit organizations and the government organizations which is also using this strategy, even though they are not aiming for profit. A non-profit organization is using strategy because it's not actually expecting profit. But still, strategy doesn't only help you to get profit, it is also going to help you to have a fabulous output, to have a fabulous financial statement. So government institutions, government organizations, NPO, NGO, they are also educational institution, healthcare sector, medical sector, everybody is using strategy not for profit, but for the best practices and to bring the best out in the industry. That's what they're doing. And we'll also see in the next session about the limitations of strategy. What is the limitation that a strategy possesses? And what are the important features of strategy and how should we formulate it? How should we implement it? How should we evaluate the strategy, whether it is working or not, whether it is failing, whether it is succeeding, whether there should be any customization, should we change it, should we adapt it? Is there a dynamic change in the environment? Should I incorporate the changes into my strategy? These are all the things we're going to see in session number 3. Until then, I'm signing off. I'm signing off, and I'm so happy, and I'm really looking forward to the next session. If you have any queries and if you really want to connect to me, if you want to write to me, you can contact me in my mail ID, which is priyag.econ@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp me in my mobile number. It's 9677 590 Meet you in the next session. Until then, it's me, Krishna Priya. Thank you so much for choosing me for your CA journey. Thank you so much.